Greetings, folks. Well, I have been inundated with people contacting me since I went out publicly and supported James Glazier at his peaceful protest outside Permanent TSB Bank for the alleged wrongdoing that Permanent TSB Bank and Pepper Advantage have done to James and his family in relation to his family home. But people now are telling me very sad stories of what happened to members of their family as a result of these vulture funds. People have also contacted me and said, Michelle, there's certain political figures in this in your county, in your own county, and throughout the country that are trying to smear my name by saying, oh, she's a loose cannon, don't tell her anything, she's capable of saying anything. But I find out now that this is actually having a ricochet effect and is kind of backfiring on these political figures because people now are seeing through them for what they are. And these political figures were seeing themselves below at firearm sales, buying up houses in Castleisland from vulture funds for €27,000. And people now are seeing through that, you know, that we're supporters of these people are now seeing their true colours. So I just have a strong message to these political figures that are bad-mouthing me. I am exposing the corruption and the truth, and I suppose the truth hurts. But let me be very clear. I will be putting my name on the ballot paper in the next general election. And by then, the Garda fraud investigation will have, you know, oh, please God, overhauled the whole electoral process. And the shenanigans that were allowed to go on for probably many years, but particularly when they were caught last year in 2024 in the local elections, and what happened, I experienced in Turin-Cahill polling station on election night, won't be allowed to happen again. So the game is kind of up. And look, folks, I can guarantee you one thing. When I and if I get into the Dáil, I will shake it up. I will expose the corruption, and I won't stop until reform is happening and people are held accountable. But look, folks, the case of Michael Gaine is not going away. It has now been 6 months since Michael Gaine was last seen alive on March the 20th, and 4 months since his remains were discovered on May the 16th. Despite, folks, the passage of time, no one has been held accountable. This is deeply disturbing for his wife, his family, his friends and his neighbours and the community in Kerry. We need answers. Serious questions now need to be raised. Why has it taken over 6 months to find the person or persons responsible for Michael Gaine's death? Why did Gardaí investigating this murder allegedly fail to inspect the complete septic tank despite being advised to do so at the very start of this investigation? Why was the crime scene allegedly interfered with? You know, why was the alleged black smoke emerging from the old farmhouse shed on the Sunday after Michael Gaine's had disappeared, which was one of the hottest days on record? Who stood to financially gain from Michael Gaine's death? And did Michael Gaine withdraw any significant amounts of money from his bank account before his death? Michael Gaine, folks, was not just only a farmer and a gentleman. He also owned a very valuable reservoir of water on his land. This, folks, raises further questions. Have Gardaí conducted their own scientific tests on this reservoir? Were samples of the water analysed for any rare earth minerals? Did they do tests to carry out, was there lithium in the water or any other valuable elements? And if tests were carried out, which laboratories performed them and who instructed the testing and paid for the testing? Have Gardaí compared this data with existing laboratory records to establish whether such valuable samples were identified before? Have rock samples from nearby quarries been tested for valuable formations that could indicate financial motives? I can speak, folks, from experience through my own company, Kingdom Water. I have carried out extensive and costly scientific testing of water and bedrock in Ireland. The most skilled man I worked with was Michael Murphy of Southern Scientific in Farranfore, one of the few companies in Ireland capable of performing such detailed analysis. If anyone, I believe, was interested in discovering the potential value of Michael Gaine's reservoir, such as a laboratory would be the first place to look. The community deserves clarity. Michael Gaine's family deserves justice. The unanswered questions around his death cannot be ignored any longer. It is time now for a full and transparent investigation. Gora Míle Maithagibh.